Hello guys, Leo's Vlogs and Models here, back for another video, and today we're gonna build the M4A3 EZH Sherman tank. Now the M4A3 EZH Sherman tank is one of the most famous tanks of World War II, and it was one of the most incredible tanks they used between the Germans and the Japanese during World War II. And it's quite amazing though, because it was modified after the M4A3, which is actually the third variant of the Sherman tank. But we extended the turret and also a new gun system and even some stronger structure systems to the Sherman tank. But before they've been sent to D-Day, they're first Lend-Lease tanks, well before the M4A3s actually. And they are actually been used for the British and the French during World War II, even sent to Russia, and had quite a lot of variants, including the Sherman Firefly. But when D-Day finally comes, the EZHs finally came to fight the Tigers and Panzers. And quite out of the war, they've been used like in some media actually. Like in Fury, they have an EZH Sherman tank, which was an M4A2, which represents an EZH Sherman tank, and also in Goes to the Panzers, an anime series, which also features several M4A3s, a Firefly, and an M4A1 with a 76mm gun. However, this tank here will not be featured in any of the anime series. Only two actually, which actually Goes to the Panzers and Fury though. But we're not gonna make the movie variant, we're gonna make the model variant of the Sherman tank. Let's take a look inside the box and see what we do before we pick a build. As you can see here, the box is mostly like we have the suspension here for the Sherman tank. Even these cool rubber tracks. Kind of satisfying actually. We also have some of the wheels also hold the tracks here. We have the main turret, and we have the another superstructure. Some small details, including for the turret and guns. And some alloy detailing here to also show some ventilation, the tankery driver, and also some one or two small details. And finally, some instructions for the Sherman tank actually. However, I cannot build this in my desk because this also requires super glue, which also super glue is also very toxic. So we're gonna build it in my garage mostly, because mostly we're going to be using this super glue here, which also is very toxic. So make sure you have some of the safety equipment you have. Now, let's get on building. Once we wrap everything out of the bags, our first step we're going to build is actually going to be building the main frame of the Sherman tank, which also includes the wheels and suspension to actually hold the tracks. Along with the build was also some detailing we're actually going to add, which is also pretty tricky to stabilize mostly. finished the main chassis of the tank. Well, it's not actually the main chassis yet. It's just only the main superstructure of our tank here. But now we're gonna take a long break and move on all the way to now the track and wheels actually, which we're gonna first assemble the track guides, which are actually some wheels there before we can actually add in the rubber tracks. According to the instructions here on my side, the Sherman tank actually let the tracks move itself, I think. Although it does look like it could just move like that, but definitely it could look like a real life Sherman tank for now. But for now, we're gonna move on all the way to the main trackage, which is actually this one here. However, there's actually like 6 suspension wheels actually to support the tracks actually. So 6, 3 on each side. So we're gonna do one side, then we'll do the other side first. In fact, the suspension on the Sherman EZ8 are actually called the horizontal volute spring suspension, which actually has the ability actually able to move on to tougher grounds or even to broken areas. Some of the wheels could also actually rotate actually. So once after that, to also actually move the tracks. So currently right now, I'd actually add friction to the glue attached wheels actually. This quite takes a long time, but they got themselves their own motion after a while. Alright, now time to begin adding the track. At least it's made of rubber, like mostly realistic, except that when you look at a real Sherman tank, most of it is still made of rubber, except now they actually have like a metal trackage on it. It would have took me a long time, but I finally got the tracks actually attached to, and actually some of the dry hot glue stuff that actually did use hot glue actually, but no worries, it was not toxic. But now with that now done, we can move on to the main chassis.
Build a Sherman tank since we already attached it to
to the entire tank, the entire chassis tank. Now it's time to add some small details on the main chassis before actually add in the main turret. Before we add the detail, we're going to add some of the one of the main structure areas to support the sides of the Sherman tank. So we're just going to add the slanted support structures. So we're going to put it into this small cup here, and it's and to make sure it doesn't actually fall in anywhere in the garage. Now, as I add the support structure to the track support extension platform, it was actually pretty difficult to add since they're actually pretty small and I could easily lose one of them. So one by one, I had to add them very carefully when gluing them attached to the Sherman tank's hull. Looks like the supporting structure size for the Sherman tank is now done. Now time to add some final detailing to the tank, which also includes the cover, the back hatch, then we'll move on to the... Also, long before we add the hatches and also the back engine part, we first need to add some detailing to the Sherman tank. Now, since they also come with these hatch covers, they can actually be opened up for display or close. But since there are actually no hinges, I decided to make the hatches closed for a while. Back cover, which also covers up the engine. The detailing is almost complete, just need to add this, and we're going to move on to the last thing, the main turret and the guns. Alright, time to place it. We place it very gently at least, to make sure we don't ruin the aesthetics of the tank. Alright, now done, we move on to the turret. Now this is actually the entire molding of the entire turret shell mostly. So now once we're cut these, we're gonna begin building the main turret. Alright, let's get to work. We need to think about this one too, because it's also the turret mantelet actually, which also helps rotate the main turret. Okay, So basically, this here will also help rotate the main turret and also help it to keep it steady for most of the time. So this is what our Sherman tank was supposed to look like. Now, with the testing now done, we should now begin the final assembly of the main gun. Tear the turning side of the Sherman tank because I also need to access most of the pegs here because these pegs here, they actually help the turret's guns actually move up and down actually. So to do that, we may have to remove the bottom side before actually adding the rest. Now we first need to actually assemble the main barrel of the 76mm gun which is actually pretty easy but also pretty tricky. But now we add this to the main cover area, which also inside here is also the loaders for the entire gun system. This is pretty snappy. When I was about to add the gun to the main turret, it's pretty difficult to add because the holes aligned up to the trunnion ain't straight enough, so I had to do it like a few more times until we actually add it correctly. Alright, it took me a few times, but I think we got ourselves a good tank. This is the tank model. Yep, this is it, the M4A3 Sherman tank. Woo. Finally done after just one day. Now I create some attachable and detachable items to the Sherman tank, like this M2 Brownie machine gun here. This gun here will be attached all the way to the outside actually, but we're actually going to create a attachable version of the M2 Brownie machine gun that can also be detached. Like this is what it looks like when it's on a tank or on a battleship or on a B-17 bomber. But it's mostly pretty cool to see one on a M4 Sherman. Although we need to wait for it to dry for most of it before we can put aside for that. And also these jerry cans, they'll be used to carry fuel for the tanks. It's quite only two, but a Sherman tank could actually carry like lots of fuel, so maybe one time I'll just build another one. Along with these small handrails, which we're going to attach to the Sherman tank. And there is actually a lot more to add to the Sherman tank, but this is actually all I could just think of, for example. But now with the tank assembly not being done, it's time to add some final detailing, which is actually going to be painting. Not actually painting the whole tank, we're actually going to add detailing paint actually in the tank actually. Now the final detailing for the tank is going to be like the wheels here, since most of it mostly like a black tire shape. Some of the tools on top, along with I think the grill, and along with the gun, a white slot here when the gun pushes back due to the that's it. That's done of the entire build of the M4A3 EZH Sherman tank. This is actually an amazing model I ever built for. As I did earlier, yes, I did build the Sherman tank. I'll plan to build another one coming soon. But I may take a break for now, but the Sherman tank there is more amazing, even though it's very historical. Main gun can move, even if you can swivel around with the main turret. But definitely, this is an amazing one. As historical in the American culture, the M4A3 EZH. Alright, the end of the full build of the M4A3 EZH Sherman tank. Hopefully you like this video, and hopefully I will build another one soon, likely a Tiger. But I'll be taking a break and move on to something else. But if you want me to build another model in the future, just leave a comment down below and in the end of the video. So, if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notification bell. Stay tuned for more videos. Also, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you all in the future. Bye.